Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace, fam. It's your brother Tavon Sueno, aka the Orthodox Moor. And I have a quick message to all my speakers corners, aka UK Muslims out there. It came to my attention that there's some Muslims that are attempting that will attempt to do a what they consider to be a peaceful protest at Speaker's Corner in terms of publicly praying in congregation, violating park rules, which some believed to have been, that some believed it to have been okay to pray in congregation. However, did not understand it was a privilege that was being granted. It was not a park actual rule to allow us to pray in congregation. Real quick, I want to share my screen and talk to y'all about something concerning this whole thing. But yesterday I was in a conversation with a good friend of mine on their channel, See Alive, and we were talking about this concept of tan. Please go check out this video, Bacon Lady faking it, tan mocking Muslims praying. We did this yesterday and whatnot, and it's a good video, family. We talking about some really interesting stuff. But something that was brought up in the video that we were thinking about in real time was the fact that there was an issue at the park with the privilege of the public prayer being taken away. And it was taken away because of pressure being put on the park officials and the police, etc., from non-Muslims to react to violence and reports of violence that escalated at the point and after Tommy Robinson coming down to the park. Everyone knows that it escalated tensions and whatnot, and one of the blowbacks from that was that public prayer was taken away from everybody. And we were talking during the show about free speech propagandists and their public social experiments that they do. Now, again, I'm a proponent of free speech. I even consider hate speech free speech. To me, the only speech that should be banned is speech that is harmful and sensitive and incites violence. And what we're seeing here is that the free speech propagandist may potentially have learned something and may potentially be implementing a public plan. And so I want everybody to pay attention to this very, very clearly and very, very closely. So this person on the screen here, Tan, has a history of trying to interrupt prayer. He was at Speaker's Corner and had to get dealt with at one point in time for trying to interrupt prayer there. We see here he was recently in a situation where he was trying to interrupt prayer in front of a shop in the UK. And so what me and my friend C were talking about was the fact that a social experiment might be going on to the fact to where they recognized that they were able to get prayer thrown away in a privileged situation in Speaker's Corner. And so there might be an attempt to try to incite people to violence in order to get the prayer taken away in a public sense. In a public sense, to where you can't even pray on the street like these brothers are doing. On public roads, public sidewalks, where they're not interfering with people. People know what time it is. They're used to walking past these cats praying, etc. Speaker's Corner is runs under different rules than the rest of the UK. Different set of rules. So under one set of rules, one set of park rules, they were able to get the prayer taken away. And so I'm saying they might be trying to get prayer taken away in a public way. And instead of us trying to retaliate in a protesting, antagonistic kind of way, we need to be really mindful about the kind of tactics that these people use. They play this game of I'm not touching you to try to incite violence, or I'm going to insult you to try to incite violence. And once they incite the violence, they say, oh, you assaulted me. And then they try to get something done legally. What we need to do as Muslims is stand for justice and use the law first. Because what we don't understand is they are inciting us to violence. This is why Tan got removed from the park twice. Understand this. This is why Tan got removed from the park twice. Because he was inciting people to violence. You can't mock people into violence like that. That's a public threat. That's a public danger. In the video with Sia, we speak about a person named Lauren Southern. Most of you know her. She was in the UK interviewing Tan. She got banned from the UK because she was in the UK doing the very same thing Tan is doing public social experiments, to where she was trying to incite reactions from Muslims. Now, I support Lauren's right to free speech. She wasn't violent in what she was doing. She wasn't as she wasn't as antagonizing as Tan is. She was actually more she was doing it in such a way to actually, I believe a free speech person should go about things if you truly believe in it, right? She was calm about what she was doing. She wasn't invasive about what she was doing. She was respectful about how she did it. And when the police, and however, though, in two situations, where one when she was standing outside of a mosque and asking people questions and whatnot and filming it, an imam called the police on her, and the police told her to leave. In the second situation, she was handing out, she was in a mall in Luton, handing out flyers, astaghfirullah, that said Allah is gay. And a lot of police came up and told her to not just shut down what she was doing, not just shut down the stand where she was handing out flyers, but to actually surrender the flyers themselves, because she was inciting people to violence. So I'm going to make this plea to all my Muslims out there in the UK, and particularly Speaker's Corner. Don't try to reverse this victim mentality and this victim concept of saying, see, we're being victimized, therefore we're going to protest, right? Because that's exactly what these free speech propagandists are doing. This is some social justice warrior stuff from America, right? To where they try to divide people into oppressed groups, and you try to complain about the fact that, see, I'm oppressed the most, therefore you have to pay attention to me. No. We're Muslims. We deal with Islam. We don't deal with divide tactics. We deal with unifying tactics. We deal with Tawheed, yeah? These people want to divide you in groups of I'm black, I'm white, I'm Asian, I'm Muslim, I'm gay, I'm transgender, etc., right? No. In Islam, we don't do that. In Islam, we don't use that tactic. We use the tactics of unifying to conquer them tactics. We were made out of a single pair of male and female into many nations and tribes that we may know each other. We're not supposed to divide ourselves up like that. We can know who we are as nations. We can respect each other as different tribes and whatnot. Yeah, but we can't hold ourselves above or below anybody, whether it be in trying to complain in the oppression Olympics or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? We can't fall for them tactics. We can't fall for the okie doke. What we have the responsibility of doing is standing for justice, even against ourselves, right? And so how we got to do this is use the law, call the police, do things like get Tan removed from the park legally, yeah? Not in a mob format. And I'm not saying he was done in a mob format either. I'm just saying it was perceived as such. And so they're trying to use that narrative. And this is what I'm saying. People are trying to flip your reactions in the social experiment to frame the narrative. So don't let them frame the narrative. You be in control of the narrative. By you trying to protest, you're letting them control the narrative and make you reactive. Don't be reactive, be proactive. Be proactive. Proactively get together as Muslims, Sunni, Shia, Sunni, Quranist, what have you. And understand that when you do stuff like this, it's going to have when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about trying to use prayer as a public display of protest in the park. Prayer was not meant to be a display like that. Prayer was meant to honor God. Prayer was meant to bring us back to remembrance. It's not meant to be a chess piece in a public propaganda campaign, right? And if we use it as such, here's how they're going to flip the narrative. See, they're trying to spread Sharia and enforce Sharia in the West. They're trying to enforce prayer where they have no right to enforce prayer. We fall right into their hands, family. we fall right into the propagandist's hands. Imagine what all the people, all the different groups out there aligned against Muslims in the UK, etc., in the Europe, etc., around the world, etc., get to do with that narrative. Are you sincerely trying to do that through prayer? No, you're trying to you're reacting to free speech, to a free speech propaganda social science campaign on you, right? So I'm saying, don't fall for the okie doke. Don't take the wood nickel. Because if you're not playing chess, you're just a pawn of the game. It's that serious. It's that serious. So again, I'm making a simple public plea to all my Muslim brethren out there. Abstain from this public prayer protest and trying to do public prayer as protest at the park. Don't do that. Follow the park rules. As Muslims are supposed to uphold the laws of the land that we're in. I don't care what sect you come from. We're supposed to respect the rulers from among us. Yeah. I don't care what sect you come from. We're supposed to respect the laws of the land that we're in. So based upon that, let us stand for justice within the bounds of the law and understand that these people will get dealt with properly if we allow the law to do so. But we have to be proactive in how we do it and understand that this tactic that they're doing is inciting people to violence. And if it can get Lauren Southern banned from the UK, it can easily get people like Tan and anyone else trying to do this nonsense banned from the UK. Yeah, we don't got to lift one finger except to dial, what is it, 999 in the UK? All we got to do is call the police, family. I know we got Muslim lawyers all day. All we got to do is let them work. Muslim solicitors, is it solicitors, I believe, in the UK? We got them. Yeah, we got to have them. Let them work for us. And within the bounds of righteousness, within the bounds of justice, and within the bounds of the law to protect us. Allah Ta'ala will not wink at their doings. We will be protected when we act with injustice. But if we go outside the realms of justice and the bounds of justice, He is surely well acquainted and sees what we do. So with that, family, I'm going to end the stream here. I just wanted to make this short and sweet to all my Speaker's Corner family, all my UK family. Let us keep the peace. Let us participate in peace, and let us preserve the public prayer from public attack by participating in peace and standing for justice. And again, with that, I say peace and love, family. Peace and love.